Metal Up World, this is CJ with CJOrtiz.com and MetalMotivation.com. This is the first of a new 5-message series I'm doing entitled Radical Resolution, the Right Attitude for the New Year. Now, this is all being shown in my Life Domination online coaching program, and you can learn more about that if you visit the link below. Radical Resolution, the Right Attitude for the New Year. It is going to be my contention that the only kind of resolution you're going to keep in the new year or in any time of your life are the resolutions that are the most radical. And by the end of this series, you're going to better understand what that means. And you're going to better understand why you haven't kept your resolutions in the past. You're going to better understand why you weren't able to make the firm decisions that were necessary to help you achieve the change that you wanted, to help you obtain the goal that you've always wanted, to help you do and progress in life in ways that you've always desired. You don't have to keep failing. You don't have to keep this continual vicious cycle going of getting your hopes all worked up, making some progress, and then having your legs knocked out from under you because of circumstances or people or your own procrastination or laziness or veering off course in the path that you were headed. You don't have to keep up that vicious cycle. You can make decisions and choose goals and make resolutions and actually fulfill them. You have the power to do so. You've done it in the past. Maybe you haven't done it for the goals that you most want now in life, but you've done it in the past. You wouldn't be where you are in life if you had not achieved certain things. You would not have certain relationships in place if you hadn't done certain things. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have the job that you have. You wouldn't have made the progress that you have if you weren't resolute at some point in your life. Maybe you were not as consistent as you wanted to be. Maybe those areas of your life that you have achieved are not at the level that you want them to be. And that's really the sole purpose of why I do what I do. My job, I consider it to be to enter into your life and maybe mess around with your agreement or contract that you signed with mediocrity, this settling with where you are and just challenging you by saying that, you know what, man, you're a hell of a lot stronger and you're a hell of a lot more powerful than you think you are. And there's a hell of a lot more that you can achieve and do. And I know it's really what you want. The human heart is only satisfied by progress, by productivity, by maximizing your resources, all that you are and all that you can do. That's really the only way to find true and lasting fulfillment and satisfaction. So your resolutions, we have to take seriously. Your goals, we have to take more seriously. So much so that we should make them radical resolutions because, in giving you a hint to where this is headed, it is the resolutions that are the most radical that tends to be the ones that we stick with. Those are the ones that we ultimately pay the price to fulfill. You know, a resolution is a firm decision to do something, which means, elementary, if you haven't fulfilled your resolution, it's because your decision wasn't all that firm. A firm decision is a more radical resolution. And how do you know whether a resolution or a decision is actually firm? Well, it's when that decision is impenetrable from competing desires. How do you know a decision or resolution is firm? It's when it cannot be penetrated, it cannot be crowded out, it cannot be displaced by competing desires. What is a competing desire? If you set out a goal for the new year to say, I want to lose weight, for example, you may have desires enter in for other things that will compete or crowd out or weaken your desire for better health, weaken your desire for losing that weight. Now, these other desires or goals that enter in are not necessarily bad. They don't have to be bad things, but they're just things that compete for your time. They compete for your energy. They compete for your passion. And you've only got so much room in there, man, to have so many desires. You can't be necessarily master of all. But if you can prioritize your goals, if you can prioritize the things that you want to change in your life, and you can maintain that, then you can lay the groundwork to build the kind of life that you want to build. Because if you keep putting off that weight loss, or if you keep putting off that job change, or if you keep putting off the goal that you may have to reduce debt and save money, if you keep putting those things off, man, your life is not going to be conducive for all of these other competing desires that may be lesser in value, but they keep entering in and spoiling the initial focus that you should be dedicated to at this time. The problem with most resolutions that people make is that when they fail, they turn on themselves, right? Isn't that what you've done in the past? You didn't fulfill the task. You didn't fulfill the disciplines. You got lazy. You gave up. You stopped going to the gym. You stopped saving your money. You added more to your debt, whatever it is. And what happened? You turn on yourself. You start calling yourself a loser. You start calling yourself a failure. You say, my mom was like this or my dad was like this. I'm going to be like this. It's just a perpetual thing. You're so convinced of your future, but your only evidence is the past, which is a source of information. Your past is certainly a source of information, but you can change it. You can change your future. You can change this upcoming year. It can be completely different than what you experienced this year. Do you even remember what your resolution was at the beginning of this year? A lot of people, they don't even remember, man. They make that decision in January. They're blown and going for most of the month. By February, things start to weaken. And by March, they're back to living the way they always did. That's why they say the busiest time of the year for a gym is in January, because that's when all the resolutions get made. But guess what? By the end of February and into March, it's just back to the same people who were going to the gym regularly anyway. Do you have a gym membership right now that you're paying for and you don't actually use? You're not alone, man. That's the majority of people. And just look at every aspect of your life and you probably have the same thing. You probably got a bunch of memberships and things that you aren't fulfilling. Well, we want to make your goal this year, we want to make your resolution even more radical. We want you to have the right attitude for this new year, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to come down to your mindset. It's going to come down to your attitude. It's going to come down to the way that you think and the way that you approach things. And if we can make your resolution that much more radical, if we can make your decision even more firm, we have a better chance of seeing you following through to what you want to accomplish in this new year. Can you dig it? I hope you can. So join me all this week for Radical Resolution, this right mindset for the new year. Like I said, this is all shown in my Life Domination online coaching program. I always show the first episode for free. If you'd like to see the rest, as well as have access to the archives of my previous 390 plus videos, then all you need to do is visit the link below. It's very inexpensive, easy to join. It's probably the best, easiest self-improvement program you'll ever be a part of. So I'd love to work with you. Just visit the link below, metalmotivation.com/Life Domination Coaching. This is CJ, the Metal Motivator. And remember, in whatever you do, don't suck. Metal up.